Alex, thanks for agreeing to talk to Forbes. I was wondering, when did you come to the point where you thought, okay, I've made it now, made some money, I need to start giving back? Can you remember that kind of time when you thought it's time to start kind of actively being a philanthropist?
Yeah, I think I share with a lot of people that at an early age I know the importance of giving back. The challenge is always how to give back. And a lot of times you don't have a really good understanding when you're young. And I made a lot of mistakes in giving back. But at the age of 21, 22 years old, I started giving back. And I just like to think that over the last 3 or 4 years, I have found a better comfort spot on how to give back and reach more people and think more global.
So can you tell us a bit about maybe one of those early mistakes? Was it a case of you just deciding to write a check you didn't know it was going, or?
I think a lot of that. I think it's giving out a lot of checks, trying to fill in every hole and be all things to all people. I think listening to Oprah this morning, she alluded to that a lot. I think a lot of philanthropists or people that just want to give back make a lot of the same mistakes. So one of the things I've tried to bridge into is really team up with great organization who have all the back office, who have a great track record. For me, it's all around based on education. I think education is more important today than any time in our history. There was a time, probably in the era of our grandparents or even our parents, that without an education, you can go out and work in a factory and work really, really hard and make a good living for you and your family. I think today's day and age has tremendous challenges, and I think education is the way out of the neighborhood, out of the hood, how they say it, and it gives you an opportunity to do great things, especially in the business world. It's very challenging today. So I work very closely with the University of Miami. I sit on their board, and I've helped build their baseball field and work on different scholarship programs that we've had that going on for about 6 years, the Alex Rodriguez Scholarship Program. I've sat on the board with the Boys and Girls Club for a long time. For me, the Boys and Girls Club was one of the biggest platforms for me to develop my skills. My mother worked 2 jobs growing up, and if it wasn't for the Boys and Girls Club, I believe I wouldn't be here today. So I give back to them. I built a whole computer center at the Boys and Girls Club in Miami, where I grew up. And the way we have it, the program is that when the kids come in from after school, we basically demand that they go into the Alex Rodriguez Computer Center and work on all their homework and kind of finish all their work before we allow them to go out into the field and play sports. And it's in that order for a reason, because we always think education, 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 and then you can go out and play your sports. And the last thing I started this year is a straight A's program for kids. So we started really organic in the Bronx. Any kid that brings me a report card with straight A's, I bring him and his parents over to watch a Yankee game on me.
So I know you're really passionate about SAT awareness. Can you tell me a little bit more about that?
Yeah, one of the things is when I talk to a lot of youth, kids in the Bronx, Washington Heights, one of the first questions I ask is, by a show of hands, and these kids are junior high kids, can you show me how many kids are aware of the SAT test? And literally, if you have a group of 100, you might have 1, 2, or 3, maybe 5% of the room, which is not nearly enough. And one of my missions in life is really to bring awareness about what is the SAT test, what does it mean, what are the ramifications of this great test, and our communities need to know that. And I'm really focused on that, not only for my career but post-career, is to travel really the U.S. and tell our youth the importance of education, testing, and SAT testing.
So this is really to make sure that these kids are prepared for college, essentially?
Yeah, I mean, it starts in 7th or 8th grade. I mean, when they drop the SAT test on you as a junior, you're like, what's the purpose of this test? Well, it may mean the rest of your life. How you score on this test may have a huge impact on A, where you go to college, and B, what's going to be your future as an adult.